Hello and welcome. This is SL Kadam, your teacher of English. Dear students, we started discussing the first text, An Astrologer's Day. In the last lecture, we had discussed about icebreakers section, and you should have understood what is in the text, what we are going to discuss. As I have told you, it's a humorous text, an eye-opening lesson, very beautifully designed, penned by R.K. Narayan. In the icebreaker section, we discussed about strengths and the possible careers in one's life. Yesterday, I was telling you, you have got to find what you love. What I wanted to tell you, sorry, regarding it, that if your uh, hobby becomes your passion, and if that passion becomes your profession, then definitely you will create history and you will become legend. I mentioned in the last lecture that uh, that if you discover what you like to do in your life, then definitely you will justify that work in all ways. So you know what is your strength and what you would like to do. So that we discussed in the last lecture. In the second point, we are told about a local market scene, usual scene, who can be seen in the weekly market or weekly bazaar. And I mentioned you can have there many hawkers or vendors, roadside vendors like toy sellers, book sellers, cloth sellers, flowers. It means the people who sell flowers and selling even grocery too. Okay, and in the third point, we are told about the astrologer, generally seen in the weekly market, and they attract the passers-by or people coming in the market. How they look like? They carry parrot. They have parrot generally with them, and they can have cards too, because using cards they anticipate what may happen. Then they may have some musical instruments. Then they can have calendar to tell you what could be your fortune. Then they sit over a mat, colorful mat. Then they may have some old books. uh, Definitely the books may be of astrology. So in this way they decorate their uh, entire place, and that may be the decorum of that business. Okay, and by looking at that decorum, we people get attracted. Okay, in the last section, about superstitions, things are mentioned. How people are superstitious, especially Indian people are superstitious, and what to be done to eradicate superstition. What to be done? We have to, educate the people. We have to make the people understand that you have to think rationally. Rationally means logically. You have to follow science. You should be a good reader, good thinker, and you should understand that what is the logic behind all these things. One point is given here: a cat crossing your path. Now, that is a superstition many people follow in our country. And what could be other things? As I've told you, hanging lemon and chilies somewhere, and that could be auspicious, or that can stay away bad things from you. That is the misconception of the people. Okay, so that is a superstition. Then wearing black dress on auspicious day. If suppose you are going to offer puja, then definitely you are not allowed to wear black dress, because people feel black is a sign of uh, you know ominous thing. So therefore these are the misconceptions. Then people don't go near people tree at night, especially because people feel that there may be a ghost, or they may get haunted by a ghost. These are the things. Then you know some in villages, especially in rural areas, people don't clean the house. It means don't sweep after sunset. Okay, why? Because they have misconception. If they sweep after sunset, then they may lose the wealth, or Lakshmi may leave their house. That is the misconception. These are the superstitions, common superstitions. So it is nothing like that. You know, people earn money, people have wealth because of their hard work, because of legacy and hard work. So doing such things may not make you either poor or rich. Okay, so we have to make the people understand these things. But as people are illiterate, and it is a legacy. Superstition is a legacy that we inherit from our forefathers to us. So therefore, people are not able to easily get rid of these things, because they are scared about their future. They feel that if we don't follow these things, something bad may happen in their future. Okay, so writer wants to make us understand in this text that these are useless things, trivial things, meaningless things, and we have to get rid of these things, because we are living in a 21st century, and we may be called as a superpower after some years. So how can people be superstitious in a powerful country or in a developed country? Okay, education makes us enlighten, and when you get enlightened, it means you have to be rational all time. Okay, you must behave logically, that is expected. Okay, this is how about icebreaker section. Let us go ahead with a brief introduction of the writer R.K. Narayan on page number 2. You must have heard R.K. Lakshman. R.K. Lakshman, the famous cartoonist of India. His cartoons are very popular in Times of India. He used to draw every day a special kind of cartoon that would criticize the uh, contemporary political system, or society. And in his cartoon he would portray the picture of a common man. Okay, so RK Narayan is the brother of RK Lakshman, legendary cartoonist. And RK Narayan became a writer, a novelist. So many novels he has written. And what is his contribution in English literature? How Indian English literature has been enriched with the writings of R.K. Narayan. We are going to discuss or read in his short introduction. Let us read R.K. Narayan 1906 to 2001. So he was born in 1906 and he left the world in 2001. Okay, so he had spent a reasonable period of his life, more than 90 years. He was in the world, and he contributed with his pen, and he tried to make the difference in the world with his write up. Okay, it is the duty of every individual to make the difference in the world. We are born to make the difference. Okay, we are not born to live only. Okay, we are born to make difference in the lives of others. Whatever you have been doing, or whatever you will do in your life, you are supposed to make difference in the lives of others with your work. That is expected from all of us. Okay, so definitely RK Narayan has done all these things. What is his full name? Rasipuram Krishna Swami Iyer Narayan Swami. You can understand he belongs to South India, and South Indian people, especially, they are very much skilled or well versed in English. And as he was a born talented person, so he was gifted with wisdom and knowledge, and he transformed that in his write up. Was one of the best known novelists among Indian English writers. Okay, as I have mentioned, novelist. He is author of 14 novels, 5 volumes of short stories, and a number of travelogues. So underline the word travelogues. What is the meaning of travelogues? Travelogues mean, experiences of a traveler. Suppose you go to Dubai, or you go to Goa, or you go to North India like Shimla, Manali, and when you come back, what you have experienced there, if you want to write that, that write up is called as travelogue. Okay, what you have experienced, what you have seen, how you enjoyed, how are the people, how to reach, how to where to stay, what is the cuisine of that place, what are the highlights of that place. If you want to mention all these things in a write up, that write up is called as travelogue. So RK Narayan has written number of travelogues. It means he has been to many countries, it means, and he has covered his experiences in those travelogues, and has a collection of non-fiction to his credit. He also wrote his memoir. Memoir means biography. You know, his life cycle, life story, we can say, uh, how his journey began, how he performed throughout his life, what happened in his life, the sequence of events he mentioned in his memoir. And what is the name title of that memoir? My Days. It was published in 1975. Narayan created the imaginary town of Malgudi. You must have heard Malgudi Dates, a very famous serial, and over Doordarshan it would be telecast. It was very popular during those days. You can watch over YouTube Malgudi Dates. Swami and his friends, then vendor of sweets. These are very famous stories he covered in his imaginary, in that imaginary town. Narayan created the imaginary town of Malgudi, where realistic characters in a typically Indian setting lived amid unpredictable events. It means when you see the serial, or when you read his novels, you would feel as if you were in that uh, particular town, you had been there. That would be his your experience, and that is the greatness of the writer actually. Okay, his stories are grounded in compassionate humanism and celebrated the humor and energy of ordinary life. It means he has pain, uh, life of life of a common man, especially ordinary man who lives in a typical Indian village. What are his problems, his issues, his day-to-day issues, especially he has tried to cover. So in a very humorous way, humorous means in a comical way, he has covered all these things. And compassionate humanism. Compassionate means kindness among the people of villages. Okay, humanity. How people are, you know, uh, kind and compassionate, and how they follow humanism, or how they are the followers of humanity. These things are covered by RK Narayan. Okay, his stories are characterized by a simple style and subtle humor. When you read, you would clearly understand very, beautifully, and by using simple words, he has developed his characters, the events, the story. Anyone can understand very easily, and anyone can get, connected with the writer's, intention or perception. Okay, subtle. Underline the word subtle. Subtle means, we can say here fine or precise. In a very precise way, in a very nice way, in a very fine way, he has created humor in the ordinary lives of villagers, Indian villagers. Okay, Narayan was introduced to American readers in 1952 by the Michigan State University Press. Dear friends, dear students, in 1952, India got freedom in 1947, and you can understand what could be the educational standard of India in 1950s or in 60s. During those days, his novels were introduced to the American audience. And American people don't acknowledge the write up of the people if the write up doesn't have standard. Okay, so Michigan State University Press, a very reputed publication, introduced R.K. Narayan's novels to the American readers, and what were the names of the novels. These include Swami and Friends, The Bachelor of Arts, The Dark Room, An Astrologer's Day, and other stories. Mr. Sampath is also there, The Financial Expert, Waiting for the Mahatma, The Guide, and many other books. So these are his famous novels, a good collection. All these novels, periodically, just like in 1937, Bachelor of Arts, The Dark Room, 1938, he wrote, and Astrologer's Day in 1947, Mr. Sampath, 1949. Chronological order of his write-up is mentioned here. All these novels were introduced one after another in America by Michigan Press. Okay, his novel, The Guide, the famous novel, you should have heard the title of the movie Guide, and Devanand Wahida Rahman, these two artists, portrayed the characters in that movie, very famous during those days, and the songs are also very beautiful. It means very touching, and the story of Raju Guide, narrated in that movie. His novel The Guide won him the Sahitya Academy Award in 1961. The highest literary award in India, Sahitya Academy Award, was conferred or given to Mr. R.K. Narayan in 1961 for his famous book, The Guide, the most coveted literary honor in India. Coveted, underline. Coveted means reputed, esteemed. Okay. His writing is distinguished by humor and unoffending irony, a unique Indianness and simplicity which is utterly charming and authentic. Narayan typically portrays the peculiarities of human relationships. Underline the word peculiarities. Peculiarities means particular or special. The specialities of human relationships, especially Indian human relationships, are covered by R.K. Narayan in his novels. And ironies. What is the meaning of irony? Irony means, what people say, uh, the reader or the audience have to consider exactly opposite of it. Okay, just like, if you have got the result of 10th or of any exam, and suppose you have got less marks, not as per the expectation, and you have shown the report card to your father, and after watching your report card, if your father says, very good result, very good, keep it up, what it means? It is ironical statement. Ironical statement means your result is not good, still your father says very good result. It means he wants to say you have done wrong, your result is not good, but he is using exactly opposite word, ironical. It means he wants to say that you have done blunders, you have not studied well, and he has criticized you uh, indirectly or directly by using that irony. So ironies are very skillfully used by the writer, it means R.K. Narayan, in his novels. Especially ironies are used by writers, but we experience ironical statements in day-to-day life. Okay, our politicians, Indian politicians especially, they are all ironical. Especially, those who are involved in scams, or those who are corrupt. When a corrupt politician says that he wants to serve the poor people, or he wants to serve the people, or he wants to eradicate the corruption, in spite of doing a lot of corruption, if he says in a political rally that he wants to eradicate corruption, that is an ironical statement. According to the speaker, it may not be ironical, but for readers or for audience it can be ironical because he is already corrupt and still he is saying he wants to eradicate corruption. This is irony. Okay, now you can understand the mindset of Indian politicians. Okay, his style is graceful. Graceful means very impressive, right? Marked by genial humor. Genial means genuine, original humor. Elegance. Elegance means again the softness, the touch. It means one can get impressed very easily. And simplicity. Okay, these features actually make R.K. Narayan's write-up friendly to every reader and humorous, popular. As I have told you, every common reader can get connected with his writer easily. That is the greatness of the writer. Okay, so this is how the introduction about R.K. Narayan's contribution in Indian English writing. Okay, you have to understand that his most popular write-up is the guide, the novel guide, and one movie is also made over it, right? And his novels were introduced to the American readers in 1952. It was an achievement for R.K. Narayan because it's not an easy thing. Okay, you cannot consider it as a casual thing. Okay, an Indian writer, uh, his write up is published in America. It's a humongous thing, huge thing. Okay, so this is how what is in the story, what the writer wants to convey all of us. We will discuss in the next class. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.